The pain of the 86 is something that no one can relate to, especially not someone like Lena, who is doing her absolute best to be an amazing handler for them, right? She's doing her all, giving them information that could very well get her assassinated if we really take a look at how this empire is really functioning. But there is no excuse, there is no I don't need your sob story, I don't need this or that. When one of our own is dead, we can't put up a facade any longer. It's mildly entertaining for us to talk to you because you are different, but we don't care. I mean, you're still sending us out to fight, you don't know our names, you don't know what we look like, and we know from her perspective, she wants to change, and by her not having her job, essentially, the Undertaker, his squad, would just continue to have handlers who don't care about them, and there's no real way for her to change the system. We saw last week, she exposed the truth in a classroom, and if it wasn't for her uncle, she probably would have been killed or jailed for life, right? There's nothing she as a singular person can do other than try her best to give compassion to people who are considered worthless and less than animals. You understand both sides. To be honest, this is probably the best handler they'll ever get. It really feels that way. But they don't deserve a good handler, they deserve human rights and freedom, right? It's a very interesting story, and with a title like I Don't Want to Die, and the first half of the episode being what you associate with a general beach episode, the girls are splashing around the water, talking about the boys they like. There's certain boys peeping in, except in this show, rather than a blush and a, oh my god, you saw me almost naked, or I'm in my bathing suit, you get a knife thrown to your head. It's a little different, but it functions the same way. And even without the title, I Don't Want to Die, you knew the type of story they were building up. They were going to build up to a death, because that's just the nature of the beast. What makes 86 use that formula a lot better, we know this is a squad that is better than seemingly any other squad out there. By the time they get orders or advice from their handler, they've already moved to a location that's probably better than what she predicted. The thing is that they're not immune to death. We've seen the box of medals, or kind of like just reminders of all those who we've lost. Shin has a ridiculous amount stored, but they're better than most. To see them live, I would argue, as humans, what we see from the Republic side is anything other than that. I think one of the best examples is for what they do with the storytelling, which I really like, is for a good amount we'll see it from the 86 perspective. They'll be talking over the phone, with their earpieces, right? And they'll be having conversation, we'll see them, they're playing with cats, they're playing cards, they're reading, they're doing this or that, they're drawing, right? And then we get to see it actually from her perspective, and it's really night and day. A lively room full of soldiers who are sent to be mindless fodder to fight a war that they're saying is going to end in this amount of time. 86 aren't human, this and that. But they eat real food. They have genuine relationships with people. And then we focus on our girl Lena, and she's in a room that's very high class, very expensive looking, but it's a very empty room. It's a very isolating room, and there's no one there to keep her company as she talks to them, unlike on the 86 side. It's the little things in writing and visual directing that can really make something pop out and feel a lot more organic and full of life and full of substance, and I think it's moments like those. I feel bad for her for sure. She is someone who wants to change the system, but she has no way to do so, and she just wants to help these people. She went out of her way to find updated maps, and seemingly the maps were pretty good, oh, here's a vantage point, this will actually help you, but she didn't get them soon enough, and it caused a death, right? And it's one of those things that she blames herself. To see the conversation and how it flips from, yeah, there's certain people who, when she's calling in every night, are very pissed off. Why are you talking to her? Why are you doing this? Why is someone like Shin giving her attention where, clearly she has romantic feelings for him? But it's interesting to see how there are some who are legit saying, you're a good person. There's nothing wrong with you. We can very well see that, but you shouldn't be with us. You will end up hurt. You will end up dead. You will end up something, right? There's just nothing good that can come. You are too good for this world, basically. It's like the Virgin analogy, like you think everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. And while I do think that's part of her character, I also firmly believe that she is a character who just wants to help them and understands the brutal world that they're a part of and wants to learn more about their brutal world because she's not going to get the truth from her side. But for them, especially characters like Shin, this stoic leader who shows no emotion, at least at the surface. He probably has quite a bit on the inside. You know, just the little things like the fact that a cat who he barely gives attention to actually comes to him more than any other. These little moments make them feel so alive, and then to have them actually snap, the voice acting quality for the one who is going off, the emotional pain of knowing you just lost a comrade, and I don't give a shit what you have to say. You sent us here. Even if you are a good person, I don't care. You're a part of the system no matter what. You didn't even know our name. And based on the title next week, I have a feeling that's going to be a prominent theme of her wanting to know each and everyone's name. So rather than probably her saying, here's your code name, go to this location, she'll actually probably call them by their actual names, which may shape the foundation of their relationships going forward. The show is definitely a step above most military style storytelling, because rather than just having it be the cute moments of the girl splashing in the water, you know, this is a story that's actually using that as a way to humanize them, to actually say, you know, the characters who you would expect would be the most human and would live in most luxury seemingly are the most animatronic, eating food that's fake. They all have the same colors. It's like this genetically altered race that only a select few can survive. And then you have these people living their best life half the day and the other day wondering if they're going to survive or not. The show is absolutely remarkable, and even in an episode that I would argue didn't have action, it did, because we did get to see it from her side, but it's just little blips on the screen. But it's interesting how engaging that can be. While last week was this beautifully animated, we got to see it from their side. Here, we get to see what they get to see. It's so disconnected, and it really does feel like when you're in that position, you're watching machines. You see little blips go off, okay, we lost one, we'll send one over here. There is no compassion, there is no humanity, and I think that's what makes it so painful for her, where she really is being genuine, but you can't blame the 86 for not wanting anything to do with her, right? It's just, there's so much good substance with the writing, and I'm so intrigued to see how Shin will probably break her. I mean, if we go by the formula, eventually Shin breaks every single handler, but seemingly Shin never wants to do it. Granted, with that conversation we have where we have the girl who's very envious of, you know, Shin talking with her, and she's saying, I wish Shin would just break her, and the one guy says, Shin never wants to do that. This is going to be interesting to see what the relationship between these two sides are going to be, because I mean, even if, you know, they accept her, it doesn't change the fact that there's going to be death and casualty. And once the war, quote unquote, ends, they're not going to bring the 86 inside the walls. They're not going to treat them like human. They'll find other uses or just dispose of them, right? It's a pretty graphic and violent world, but the details both in the visual storytelling and just how well written it is, which just goes hand in hand with probably how great the source material is. It's great to see the show carry through, and for an episode that may be considered slow to some people's standards, I think was packed full of substance and quality and really characterizes this cast even more, just with simple glares from certain people just saying, why are you even talking to her? Great stuff. It was painful, and I feel like the pain is just getting started and it's only going to get worse from here. I mean, if one death can cause them to act like that towards her, imagine if multiple people die in a same battle. Like, it's pretty brutal. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below, your favorite moment, and where do you think it might go with next week's episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.